So we learned a little bit about fireflies yesterday, and they're really amazing creatures. So we're back again for part 2 with our lightning bugs and fireflies. Millie still is thinking that she does not like being out here at dusk, and I don't mind. I don't blame her because she's quite a small creature. So Todd's gonna bring her in, and we'll read a story, and then we'll see what else is up. Okay, where is this dude? Okay. So we caught this guy, and Todd said, how do you know it was a guy? And the answer is because, oh, there he goes. Because he was flying in the air. Oh, well, so you can see they're like beetles. They're like ladybugs. They take off as soon as they can. Maybe we'll catch another one. Hi, friends. Millie and I are here to do a glow-in-the-dark craft that maybe will help you find some fireflies this evening. In order to do this craft, you're going to need a toilet tube, some pipe cleaners, some glow sticks. These are glow bracelets. A glow stick would actually work better, but you know, it is what it is. Then we've got a marker, some scissors, black, red, and yellow construction paper, some tape, and a napkin. So we're going to share our story, The Very Lonely Firefly by Eric Carle, and then we will get into our glowing firefly craft. So here we have The Very Lonely Firefly by Eric Carle. The Very Lonely Firefly. As the sun set, a little firefly was born. It stretched its wings and flew off into the darkening sky. It was a lonely firefly, so it flashed its light in search of other fireflies. The firefly saw a light and flew toward it. But it was not another firefly. It was a light bulb lighting up the night. The firefly saw a light and flew toward it. But it was not another firefly. It was a candle flickering in the night. The firefly saw a light and flew toward it. But it was not another firefly. It was a flashlight shining in the night. The firefly saw a light and flew toward it. But it was not another firefly. It was just a lantern glowing in the night. The firefly saw several lights and flew toward them, but they were not other fireflies. There was a dog and a cat and an owl with their eyes all reflecting the light. The firefly saw a light and flew toward it, but it was not another firefly. It was the car's headlights flooding the night. The firefly saw many lights and flew toward them, but they were not other fireflies. They were fireworks, sparkling and glittering and shimmering in the night. When all was quiet, the firefly flew, through the night, flashing its light, looking and searching again. Then the very lonely firefly saw what it had been looking for. A group of fireflies flashing their lights. And now the firefly wasn't lonely anymore. And so you can see all of them winking their lights, welcoming our lonely firefly. And this book has a few facts. The first one is from the author himself, I should say. And it says fireflies are not flies, but soft-bodied beetles. They have luminous, light-giving organs that blink on and off in the night to attract other fireflies. This light is a cold light. It does not give off any heat. There are about 2,000 species of fireflies in the world, of which approximately 50 kinds can be found in the United States. So we know, right? This is not a true fly, it's a beetle. And we're going to make a craft that shows us what actually makes it a beetle. So the reason why our firefly was so lonely was because he kept getting confused with all of these other kinds of lights that people put into the environment. And that's what we call light pollution. So when people have lots of lanterns and lights and candles and flashlights and fireworks, it can make it very tricky for the fireflies to find their friends. So we're going to let Millie explain to you more about how you can be a friend to fireflies after we make our glow-in-the-dark craft.
Fireflies are a type of beetle. Join Miss Amy for a science craft that will illustrate some special features of these amazing insects.
So, this evening I thought we would make a glow-in-the-dark model of a firefly to show you a little bit about how fireflies are, how they're built, how they're made, how they grow. So when we make our firefly, we're going to start building the body first. And we know from all of our other insect learning that insects have 3 body parts. They've got a head, which we're going to turn this into, a thorax, which is the middle part, and then the abdomen. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the head first. And you're just going to do that by taking your yellow paper and crunching it up into a ball. And then we're going to take our head and we're going to tuck it inside the thorax. That's that middle part. And then we're going to take our abdomen, which is the lower part. And if you have just one glow stick, you don't have to tape it together. But since I have 4, we're going to tape these glow sticks together. And then we're going to tape this abdomen up inside the thorax. And in real life, it's not exactly this long, but well, let's see. Maybe I can fiddle with it. I'll put the head in on top to keep it secure. So I'm just taping my glow sticks inside, and then I'm going to tuck my head. So now we've got the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. And you want to be careful not to do what I did. See, I accidentally cracked one, and you can see it's already starting to glow. You want to save this project so that when you go outside at night with your pretend firefly, you might be able to catch some, you might be able to attract some real fireflies. So now we're going to look at the head. And a firefly's head has 2 big compound eyes, so you can just draw those on there. And it's got these jaws called mandibles. And then they've got antenna. And you can just easily enough take one and just poke it through the paper. Here comes Millie. She hears that paper crumpling, and I'm sure she thinks it's food. There's nothing here that's edible, my dear. So, we've got our eyes, and our jaws, and our antenna. And then we've got them coming out of the head, and then the head is coming out of the thorax. So the next part that we're going to do is attach the legs. And we know that all insects have 6 legs. So if you take your 3 pipe cleaners and just wind them around the thorax and give them a little twist, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. And you can even bend them however you like. That's the quick and easy way. Okay, so now he's looking like this. And because a firefly is a beetle, we're going to give it 2 pairs of wings. So the first pair we're going to put on are its flying wings. And the flying wings are very delicate, so we're going to cut these out of a paper napkin. And just to do that, you don't even have to draw it. You're just sort of going to make an ovalish shape. And so these are going to be the beetle's flying wings. See how nice and delicate they are? And we're going to tape these to the thorax. And technically, beetles have 2 pairs of these. So there's 1, 2, that's my first pair. And then we're going to take our second pair and tape them on top as well. And this is all going to get covered up, so if you're messy with your tape, that's not a big deal. Then we have to put their hard shell wings on the back. And for that, I've cut out a bigger oval. And I'm just going to cut a slit down the middle. And you can give it a little curl so that it looks like they're about to open. You don't have to, but you're going to take a piece of tape and attach. So now comes the part to add detail. So fireflies have that little yellow spot at the top of their back. So we just cut a little half circle. We can tape that on. On top of that yellow half circle, there's usually like a little red splotch. And depending on the species of firefly, it might be slightly different. So depends on what kind of firefly you catch. So now comes the best part. So we've got all the parts of our firefly beetle, right? We've got the head that pulls the eyes, the antennas for sensing things like movement in the air. Then we've got the 6 legs. We've got the main body part called the thorax, where all the wings attach. And then with fireflies, we've got this very special glow-in-the-dark abdomen. And the trick to this is when you're ready, like when it starts to get dark and you want to go search for fireflies, you're going to crack your glow stick and an amazing thing is going to happen. So you see how this starts to glow? Millie is going to tell you why we are using glow sticks for this particular project. And here are some instructions for a super simple version. Just follow the diagram and you'll do just fine.
It is no accident that we are using a glow stick for today's science craft. Did you know scientists and inventors got the idea for the glow stick by observing and studying the bioluminescence of creatures like fireflies? Bioluminescence is when a living thing can make its own light. Scientists and engineers were looking for a lightweight light source that could be used in wet conditions and didn't need batteries. They started looking to nature for ideas. Most light creates heat, but the light of fireflies is a cold light. When oxygen mixes with the chemicals in a firefly's body, it creates a glow. Scientists figured that if they could copy in the laboratory what a firefly does naturally, they would achieve their goal. And that's how the glow stick was born. These insects are truly amazing. They use their bioluminescence to communicate with one another. They depend on being able to see one another in darkness to find partners and make more fireflies. Sadly, their numbers are shrinking. Humans are making lives very hard for fireflies. Light pollution, pesticide usage, loss of habitat, and climate change are making it very hard for fireflies to be successful. Here are some ways that you can be a friend to fireflies. Number 1, dim your outdoor lights. Fireflies are most active between the hours of 10 and midnight. Twinkle lights may be beautiful in your garden, but they can confuse fireflies who are out looking for a mate. Put them on a timer, or better yet, keep them off during the prime 2 weeks of firefly season. Number 2, draw your shades. The amount of light pollution each home gives off can make it difficult for fireflies to find one another. Number 3, tell your grown-ups to skip the pesticides when planting and gardening. If it's meant to keep one kind of bug away, it's probably not healthy for fireflies. Number 4, let it grow. Fireflies like to rest in long, tall grass during the day. Convince your grown-ups to leave a section a little longer for them. Number 5, become a firefly activist. Educate your grown-ups on the importance of taking care of nature. Fireflies can't survive if people build on their habitats or if we make the climate go all crazy.